Hey everybody, welcome back to Wilson Builds. If you're new here, I'm Zach. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're returning from a previous video or my Instagram, and all you guys who weekly comment, thank you very much for returning to today's video. And if you're new here, welcome. Today, we're back on the 1929 Ford Roadster. If you're not familiar with this project, this is my 1929 Ford Roadster on a 32 chassis with a small block Chev. And we've been building this for the last few years with the intention of taking it to Deuce Days here in Victoria in summer of 2025. But today we're jumping into the interior. If you've seen my previous videos, we just put the body back on and kind of pieced it back together, reassembled it if you may, and now we're just gonna fine tune that reassembly. So if you haven't seen the videos prior, go check them out so you can be up to date with what we're doing today. But I'd like to tackle kind of what we're going to do for carpets and side panels and get our sound dampening, like that sticky pad, Dynamat kind of stuff on the floor, as well as the big job I'd like to tackle today is taking care of the seat. Obviously, we don't have, a finished seat, but we have an option to kind of get one sized in there. Yes, there's a seat in there right now, but it's just not working out. It was a great seat to mock everything up and get the heights right and get the steering wheel where it needed to be in the shifter. But once I put it in the kind of finished body, I was really not pleased with it. So we have a few options and we'll show you what we got. But yeah, let's jump into the interior and get into today's video. Okay, so here's our seat. Now this seat, it's been a good seat for mock-up and for getting all my leg room and so on and so forth, because Roadsters are very small cars, especially the 28, 29. So happy that I got it. Yes, it was really cheap. I think it was 50 bucks or maybe 100 bucks. And it worked. But that being said, I don't like it in there now and I want to go with something custom and different. So that's what we're doing. Now the next question you may be asking is, well, what seat can I use? Can I build a frame? The answer is yes. Can I get foam? The answer is yes. But then that gets pricey because you're bringing, something to an upholsterer if you don't do upholstery yourself, and then they're redesigning it and chopping it and making it work for what they need. So what is the best alternative? And the Ham and the Jalopy Journal and a couple of my friends have all recommended Dodge Caravan seats or just van seats in general. Those are the seats that go in the middle that usually seats two people, and then you can pull them out at any time in like a minivan. So I went on Facebook Marketplace and I looked up minivan seats, and among tons of them I found a local guy and he had two seats. So these were the seats I got. These were absolutely free, and they even delivered them to me, so even better. A lot of these seats come out of vans that people are camperizing, so they're always relatively available. There's tons on Facebook Marketplace when I looked. The difference is there's a little bit of a gap here, and that might play a bit of an issue for us. We could maybe use this bigger one, or if not, use the smaller one. So obviously, all the armrests, headrests, all the plastic crap, it all has to come off. Even the seat belts are really ugly. So that will all be coming off when this goes and gets reupholstered by LG Speed and Custom. But the foam and the structure and the frame and the sliders are all there. But the only real big difference between these seats is the smaller seats have the armrests, which are a bit of a pain, and the longer seats are, well, they're longer. So we're gonna have to do some really good measurements and obviously make a custom frame for these seats because these are obviously gonna be a little too high. So we're gonna have to measure from kind of right here and the opposite on the other side and see how long we got, and here as well. So let's get into that. So this seat's pretty plain and simple because it has no bulges on either end. So I'm just gonna run our tape from there to there, and we're at 45 3/4. And then this guy, he has cup holders. Check that out. I wonder if we can take these off right now. All right, I'll give us a way better measurement now. And this guy we're sitting at 43. Oh, pretty comfy though. So I guess the next thing is measuring the cab. Oh, now we can start measuring the inside here. I'm gonna take this guy out. So realistically, this is where we'll be measuring from, because that's the end of the seat. So let's get these doors closed. And now we can go realistically from door to door, kind of. I'm gonna do a little bit in front of the door. We're looking at 41. So realistically, the smaller seat's gonna be our best option. Okay, so it's balancing on our drive shaft tunnel right now, but it fits in there pretty good, actually. This is actually pretty awesome. So we're gonna have to figure out how to keep it upright for the time being. It's actually like fits there absolutely perfect. These are out of a Ford Windstar or Twin Star, I think a Windstar. So yeah, anyways, we gotta find blocks or something to put underneath these so they stop rocking. Okay, so I got some 3/4 inch square tubing, and I'm just gonna put that underneath there and try to line it up on the other side too. All right, it's a little better. I am very, very surprised how well this is fitting, actually. Let's try to sit in here. Definitely takes a few like inches out, but I mean, that's not bad. It's actually really comfortable. I'm actually really surprised how well this fits and how comfy it is. Mind you, we're a little bit higher, and I mean, the armrests will have to go, but I mean, the brake feels good, the gas pedal feels good, the shifter feels good. Everything feels comfortable. The height even, I mean, I'm looking straight at the window bar, but that's what sunglasses are for. This is awesome. I didn't expect this to fit so good. All right, there's our piece. So that will go like that behind the seat. The back 2 bolts or 1 bolt, however many we decide to do, will go there, and then the front bolt will go here. And then we'll just bolt it to the floor. All right, there's our first bracket made. So functional, obviously. And I haven't tightened it down because I have to take this off and put the hole marks in here. But overall, really good. I think it's gonna work out good. As you can see, it actually fits really good. Even the gap here is awesome. So when Lee does this, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add material in here and then kind of follow to here. So this will all be one piece. All right, now that we have the holes drilled and where we want them, I'm just gonna pull the mounts back out once again. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna weld this bolt in, just so when we're tightening it, we only have to tighten it from one. We don't have to hold a wrench here and awkwardly hold a wrench on the other side. We'll just weld them, makes it so much easier. So let's prep the surface for a weld it. All right guys, it's the next day. We can hammer out the rest of the bracketry and stuff to mount this seat. Before we go any further though, I'm gonna start taking off all the plastic crap and the armrests, and then we'll put it in. So I guess I don't have to be too polite with these things, so I'm just gonna grab a pry and see what we can do. All right guys, seat is in. The bolts fell right into the holes that we drilled and it's positioned nicely. It's very comfortable. So I'm really, really happy with this. Now we can pull it out and essentially bring it to Lee for him to upholster. But I think our next step is gonna be putting in our sound deadening mat. This is called Kill Mat. I've seen a lot of guys use it on like Instagram and YouTube. It's just like a cheaper version of the Dynamat stuff and it works all the same. This is I got off Amazon. I think it was like 80 bucks maybe. This sound deadening mat is always pretty expensive, but that was pretty affordable for how much we got. This is 36 square feet, so it should do this car plus some. So we're gonna worry about the main areas first, you know, going on the firewall, the main floor, under the seat, and so on and so forth. This really helps in closed cars. I don't know how much it's gonna help in a open car, but I guess we'll see. Anyways, let's start pulling the seat out, cleaning the floors, and we'll put this in. All right, so I just realized we actually have a few steps. I'm jumping ahead of myself here. We have a few steps to do before we can put the sound deadening mats in. And one of the big ones is I have to make a hatch for our brake reservoir so we can actually access the brake reservoir. We have to drill some holes for our steering column, I guess, bracket that holds the column into the floor, and drill a few holes for our little ring that goes around our shifter boot. And I think that was it. The most important being the hatch for our brake reservoir.
So I just drilled these 3 holes, and the reason why is when I was putting the brakes in, I punched from the bottom markings where I needed to drill eventually to make the hole. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do my drilling over here. I don't know if you guys can see the punch marks over here. So I'm just going to make these holes, and I'll cut this hole here, and then we'll kind of decide what we want to do after the fact. As you can see, we can get our tool in there if we have to help us with that. And then this comes out relatively easy. Lots of room to get our fluid in. I'll put this back on. And then we can just pop it back on like so. So we'll get the hatch made tomorrow, like I said. Next thing we have to tackle is drilling those holes. Obviously we have to orientate it a little bit differently, but that's our next priority. All right, now we can start putting our sound deadening mat in because we have all the holes drilled. I'm gonna leave the little ring that goes with the shifter boot just because might change that up. So we're just gonna start. And as you guys may have noticed, we have our floor panel now. So we have an access little hatch for our brakes. When I dropped the seat off at LG, he was nice enough to cut me this out on his plasma table. And then I went to the boat store, like an auto marine store, and got all the stainless hardware and hinge and little pulley thing. So it looks pretty good. Now we just have to put a coat of paint on it and bolt it to the floor. But our carpet will be pretty much level with this, and then we'll have our floor mat over top of this so it won't hinder us too much. But I think it looks great. Now we got our hardware in place. We can take this out and paint it, but that will come another day. All right, everyone, I'm going to call the video there. Thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate the support every week. Seeing you guys greatly motivates me to make the next video and so on and so forth. So thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. And if you're new here,
Thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys coming for the first time, and hopefully we'll see you on the next video. But I'm super stoked where we got to today. I mean, putting the sound deadening in, making the hatch for our brake reservoir, and especially getting the seat working well. It's super comfortable, which was a big worry of mine for comfort in a very small car. I'm 6'2", and this car is very small. So being comfortable is key, and I'm really glad that worked out with that minivan seat. And I was able to drop the seat off with LG Speed and Custom with Lee Grant, and he's gonna make this seat, well, that seat, make it really look like it was meant for this car and not a minivan. So really stoked to get that back. It's gonna take a little bit, but it is what it is, no rush. And other than that, really happy where we got off to today, because that was a huge job, even though it maybe didn't look like it on camera, or in this video I should say, but really stoked on it. Anyways guys, if you saw something you like, dislike, something I can improve on, if you want to see something specifically done to the Roadster, drop it in the comments below. Or I've had a couple people ask me to send pictures and measurements on Instagram, so if you want to reach me that way, that's totally awesome too. But anyways guys, if you did see something you like, please drop that in the comments below, and don't be afraid to hit that like, subscribe, and notifications button so you know when we're uploading, which is every single Friday. Anyways guys, we will see you on the next video of Wilson Builds, and thanks again for tuning in.